So today I'm attempting one of the most annoying glide towers I've ever played in Roblox. And honestly, this looked way easier when I first joined. At the start I thought this would take maybe 10 minutes. I was completely wrong. The first jumps actually weren't that bad, but the second I got higher up, everything became way more difficult. One wrong movement and you basically lose everything. And the worst part is that some of these jumps look easy, until you actually try them. Right here I already started panicking because I knew if I fell, I'd have to do all of that again. And somehow the jumps kept getting smaller and smaller. I swear these towers are designed to make people rage quit. Like seriously, who made this? At this point I was actually locked in. No distractions, no mistakes, just focus. But then this happened. I honestly thought the run was over right there. Somehow I survived that jump. I have no idea how. And now we were entering the hardest section of the entire tower. This part took me forever. Every single jump needed perfect timing. One tiny mistake and it's over. And the pressure gets worse the higher you go. Because the more progress you make, the more nervous you get. You start overthinking every movement. You stop trusting yourself. And suddenly, the easiest jumps become impossible. I'm not even joking when I say my hands were sweating during this part. And then this jump almost ended the entire run. I don't know why glide towers always have that one impossible section. There's always one jump that feels completely unfair. But somehow we made it through. Barely. At this point I knew I actually had a chance to beat the tower. But I also knew this was where most people fail. The final stages. The pressure here is insane. Because you're so close to winning that you start panicking even more. And then the game starts testing everything. Precision, movement, patience, timing, everything. One bad flick and it's over. One bad landing and you fall all the way down. And honestly, I almost gave up multiple times. There were moments where I seriously thought quitting would be easier. And then this guy showed up. At first I thought he was just passing by. But then he stopped and stared at me for a second. And that's when I realized he wanted to race. So obviously I accepted. At first he was actually winning. Like way ahead of me. And honestly I thought I was about to lose. But then he started rushing the jumps. Meanwhile I was trying not to panic. At this point, the race was getting really intense. Every jump started feeling harder, because I knew one mistake could ruin everything. And the weird part was that this guy was actually really good. Like, way better than I expected. Every time I thought I was catching up, he somehow got ahead again. But then I noticed something. He was starting to rush. You could tell he really wanted to win. We kept getting higher and higher. And somehow the race was getting insanely close. At this point, we were basically neck and neck. One mistake would end everything. Then we reached the final section. The pressure was crazy. He jumped first, and then this happened. He missed the jump completely. Bro fell all the way down. I actually couldn't stop laughing. After all that confidence, he lost at the very end. But after getting this far, there was no way I was stopping. I had already spent too much time on this tower, so I kept going. Slowly, carefully, trying not to mess up. And then we reached the final part. The last jumps. This was it. Everything came down to this moment. One final mistake and the entire run was gone. No pressure at all. And somehow, I actually started shaking here. I could not believe I was this close. After all the fails, after all the resets, after all the annoying jumps, we were finally here. The ending, the final stages. The pressure here is insane, because you're so close to winning that you start panicking even more. And then the game starts testing everything. Precision, movement, patience, timing, everything. One bad flick and it's over. One bad landing, and then I actually did it. I beat the tower. Finally. That was honestly one of the most stressful Roblox towers I've played in a long time. If you've ever beaten one of these towers before, you already know how painful this is. And if you haven't tried one yet, trust me, it's way harder than it looks. Anyway, if you want more Roblox tower videos like this, subscribe. And maybe next time I'll try an even harder one. Although honestly, that might be a terrible idea.